Get great deals on the latest phones, tablets, and business apps with O2 Business. You're watching BTech, I'm Basil, this is an iPhone SE. The iPhone SE is an iPhone 6 in an iPhone 5S's body. But can Apple really sell a 2-year-old looking phone now for over 400 quid? Oh yes they can, and they are, and this video is going to lend to explain exactly why. If you like the channel though, before I jump into the review, subscribe. It's how you'll stay on top of all our upcoming videos. Alright, back to the iPhone SE. The iPhone 5S was a good looking phone. It had a metal body, it had a glass front. This is a slightly refined iPhone 5S look and feel, but really side by side you wouldn't be able to tell the differences. They look identical. Also available in a rose gold version. It's a little bit more elegant in that respect, but yeah, this is an iPhone 5S. Thankfully, not the worst thing in the world. 4 inches of screen, perfect for smaller hands, unlike mine. You've also got flat sides that make it really easy to grip onto, so I have no fear when I shake it and do stuff like that, which I would have if I was holding an iPhone 6. In addition, all the buttons are really easy to reach. You can reach all the sides of the screen, and the home button in the center doubles up as a fingerprint scanner. Touch ID, Apple Pay works a treat. You can see at the base you've got a lightning connector as well as a loudspeaker and a 3.5mm jack. Around the back is that 12 megapixel camera and a dual tone flash, and on the front facing camera, and obviously that home button / fingerprint scanner combo. Yeah, it's an iPhone 5S, there's no getting around it. If you're thinking, will I like the design of this phone, and you've got an iPhone 5S, chances are you will, because you're very used to it. For me personally, it's too small. The screen, 4 inches, just fat thumbs and 4 inches screen don't go together. But if you like the size of your iPhone 5S, it could be the perfect upgrade, especially considering the fact that you've got such fast internals. So the screen itself is 1136 by 640 pixels, 326 pixels per inch. It's not the sharpest out there, not the least sharp out there. My only issue with it is our one had a kind of annoying yellow hue. It's not as cool or crisp as other iPhones of old. Now, we've done a video on this. There is a fix for it apparently. It's leave it outdoors in the sunlight for a long time or just use it in day-to-day. It's apparently about the adhesive layer that glues the capacitive something. Anyway, still, it's a very responsive screen. It's sufficiently sharp, like I was saying, especially for a 4-inch panel. And it looks good if you can get past that slight yellow hue. As far as what's inside the screen, it's iOS, the latest version, 9.3 or whatever you've got on your iPhone, and it's all powered along by an Apple A9 chip. Incredibly smooth. It's also going to be perfect for gaming. Maybe not if you're actually gaming on the device because you don't want on-screen buttons, but if you have a gamepad, SteelSeries, and something like that, you'll be able to play games on it with no problem. The 2 GB of RAM paired with that A9 chip is exactly what you've got in an iPhone 6S, a much more expensive, much larger smartphone, especially the fact this isn't pushing as many pixels. It kind of suggests that it's actually, in some way, it's going to perform better. So yeah, it's a gaming champion, it's a performance champion just in terms of the capabilities. The UI is very familiar. You've got home screens that you can lay applications across, pull down from any of them, you can access a universal search, pull down from the top, and you've got some notifications and your today view as well. Pull down from the bottom and you've got quick toggles as well as media access shortcuts, brightness control, and a few other quick toggles. Really intuitive. If you've used iOS before, then you will have no trouble getting your head around it. And what's great about this is that there is no slowdown in sight. As far as multimedia goes, the small screen may not make it perfect for things like Netflix or getting movies on here, but the sheer capability is all there. You can stream to your heart's content, BBC iPlayer, download for offline content. And at the same time, you can also download movies on here of your own, but you'll have to go through iTunes, and that is a massive faff still, like it's always been. Chances are though, if you're already subscribed to the iOS way of doing things, you'll already know that. The multimedia aspects in terms of the camera front and back are massively improved over the iPhone 5S. The rear camera doesn't have image stabilization, and that's the only real downside. So real low light scenarios, it's going to struggle a little bit, but it's still going to perform well competitively with other devices out there. Falls behind the S7, falls behind the iPhone 6s Plus, and probably falls like in line or just behind the Huawei P9, maybe the HTC 10 as well. But what you end up with, like I said, for the price, 440 quid, one of the best performing camera phones around. It can also shoot 4K video, another reason I suggest to opt for the 64 gig version, and it can shoot live photos. So your photos have a little bit more personality than were they taken on an older generation iPhone. Now the multimedia gets a thumbs up generally speaking, and that's especially in terms of the audio. It sounds good through headphones, but it doesn't sound good through the speaker. And when you are gaming on this thing, it's very easy to cover up the speaker, so bear that in mind. You will want to plug in headphones or use a Bluetooth speaker when possible. Back onto the internals, and like I said, the A9 chip head with 2GB RAM will fly, but so will the connectivity. It supports up to Cat6 LTE, the fastest that networks go here in the UK. You've also got Wi-Fi 5 GHz, 3G suffice to say, Bluetooth, there's a GPS in this thing as well. Absolutely flies. Thanks to the NFC contact point around the back, it also supports Apple Pay, and while it won't support file transfers through NFC or one-touch pairing, Apple Pay is actually one of the most useful things that I've experienced in my time with smartphones generally, so that's super, super cool. There's also in-app verification through the Fingerprint Scanner, and the Fingerprint Scanner isn't the fastest that I've used, but it is very, very reliable. Now, the battery under the hood is a tiny, tiny cell, but thankfully it actually lasts longer than the iPhone 5S did, whether that's down to optimizations around iOS or down to the A9 chip or anything. It hasn't necessarily got more milliamps, but it still outdoes its predecessor, if it is indeed its predecessor. So with a phone that will just get you through a day with regular to intensive use, and a phone that also charges quite quickly as well, albeit not a super fast charging phone like some of the Androids being released at the moment, you end up with one of the only hand-holdable phones in the world that has the power of a flagship. Would I buy it? Definitely not. Look at my hands, just pointless. But if I didn't have freaky hands and freaky big hands, and if I wasn't a giant generally and wanted a smaller phone with loads of power, the fact this comes in 64 gig, that's a 4K video, has a great camera, has a really, really fast chipset inside, and performs well in day-to-day means that it's an absolute killer in the small smartphone category. What do you think? Do you think the SE is just a rehashed 5S and Apple being lazy, or do you think it's actually offering something really different to people who are looking for a small phone with some oomph? Let us know in the comments section below. Like this video, click like the channel, like I said earlier, subscribe. It's how you'll stay on top of everything that we do. Thanks for watching. Get great deals on the latest phones, tablets, and business apps with O2 Business.